2014, right?
Yeah.
Last time I
All
checked.
here, we're on the right place.
Guppyville.
Stop saying that.
It's not
All right.
1971.
I was looking back at the things I've done with this over the last several months. I haven't done this navigating my Eerie landscape alone. I think Joanne, I think we were talking about this particular article. This was an article that was in Newsweek magazine. Yeah, about, well, I'll tell you, March 8th, 1999.
Oh, wow.
Make it
I was just about to turn 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was only
older
8.
than my sister.
I was only 9. It was fun.
You're only 9.
Okay, moving right along. This is an article that I love as a mobility teacher because it brings out the social aspects of mobility. I spent most of my checkered career working with adolescents, teaching them mobility. And a big part of the show was teaching people the social aspects, which was difficult for adolescents, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids. And by that I mean, you know, how to connect with the public, how to, quote, use the public in a good way, in a profitable way. And, you know, essentially most people want to do the right thing. It's just, you know, human nature. But most people don't know what to do when they see a blind person. So what do they do?
I had one freeze on me the other day. Just stopped, wouldn't talk, wouldn't anything.
Yeah, that's common.
Oh, yeah.
It happened.
They, you know, they just don't know what the hell to do, so they do nothing.
That's what it was. I ended up going around. I asked if it was a person. Anyway, you know.
You whack them a few times.
I did. I did. And the person I was with said, "Yeah, that's a person," but they wouldn't move or anything.
Yep, that is
So
a
I
person.
ended up going around them. I swear. It happened. Yeah.
It's not a,
Wow.
you know, it's not, that's not unusual. Another thing that happens quite frequently is who was it, David Thoreau said most men lead lives, James would know this, most people lead lives of quiet desperation. You must have read that, James, sometime recently in school, no? Henry David Thoreau, the great naturalist. He went to Lake Walden. Is this ringing a bell? No? Okay. But now we're at a point where most men don't lead lives of quiet desperation. They lead lives of continued distraction. Keith,
What's up?
you got a human being to put that down.
All right.
I almost think I'm back in high school.
Feel like it.
Okay. Moving right along. Navigating my Eerie landscape alone. By James Bulbrook. And this guy is a writer. And when I read this to you, you'll see he's quite a writer. And he says, unless I ask for help, strangers are so afraid of doing the wrong thing, they do nothing. That's the subtitle.
They do nothing what?
Nothing
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Okay, so you know, when you're out there, you got to, you know, be ready for all kinds of things, including nothing. Right. Okay, now as I stroll down the street, my right forefinger extends 5 feet in front of me, feeling the ground where my feet will walk. As a mobility teacher, we used to constantly tell people, you know, decades ago that your cane was an extension of your finger. Before, my right hand would have been on the steering wheel as I went down the street. I drove to work, found shortcuts in strange cities, picked up my 2 daughters after school, Those were the days when I ran my finger down a phone book and never dialed for information. This is 1999. When I read novels and couldn't sleep until when I read novels, I couldn't sleep until I finished the last page. Those were the nights I could point out a shooting star before we finished scraping across the sky. And when I could go to the movies, and it didn't matter if it was a foreign film or not. What do you mean by that?
Subtitle.
Subtitle.
You could, yeah.
Subtitles.
Okay. But this all changed about 7 years ago. I was driving home for lunch on what seemed to be an increasingly foggy day, although the perky radio DJ said it was clear and sunny. After I finished my lunch, I realized that I couldn't see across the room to my front door. I had battled glaucoma for 20 years, and suddenly, without warning, my eyes had hemorrhaged. I will never regain any of my lost sight. I see things through a porthole covered in wax paper. I now have no vision in my left eye and only slight vision in my right eye. A minefield of blind spots make people and cars suddenly appear and vanish. I have no depth perception. Objects are not closer and further, they're larger and smaller. Steps, curbs, and floors all flow on the same flat plane. My world has shapes, but no features. Friends are mannequins in the fog until I recognize their voices. Printed words look like ants writhing on pages. Doorways are unlit mine shafts. This is not a place for the faint-hearted. This guy's pretty descriptive, huh?
Yeah, describes me to a T.
Yeah, he featured right.
He knows how to describe.
My cane is my navigator in this eerie landscape, hence the title, Navigating My Eerie Landscape Alone. It is a hollow fiberglass stick with white reflector paint and a broad red band at the tip. It folds up tightly into 4 15-inch sections, which can be slipped into a black poster that attaches to my belt with Velcro. Adults, unless they're preoccupied or in a hurry, will step aside without comment when they see me coming. Small children will either be scooped up apologetically or steered away by their parents. Only teenagers sometimes try to play chicken, threatening to collide with me and then veering out of the way at the last minute. When I am wielding my stick, strangers are often afraid to communicate with me. I don't take this personally anymore. Certainly they can't be afraid that I'll lash at them with my rod. Take that, you hapless sighted person.
Sounds like fun.
Especially with our fencing instructions.
No, they're probably afraid for me. Don't startle the sore swallow. Don't swallow. Don't tickle the contour. The trick for the sighted person, and this is the whole rub here. The trick for the sighted person is to balance courtesy with concern. Should he get out of the way? Should he get out of his way, or should he get out of the way? Should he go out of his way, or should he get out of the way? Let me say that again.
Okay.
Should he go out of his way, or should he get out of the way?
Go around and move. Simple.
Will his friendliness be misconstrued by the disabled as pity? Will an offer of help sound patronizing? These anxieties are exaggerated by not knowing the etiquette in dealing with the disabled. A sighted person will do nothing rather than take the risk of offending the blind. Still, I refuse to take a dim view of all of it.
And then what?
Dim
A
view.
dim view. In other words, he's not gonna let it get him down. He's not gonna be
Good for him.
discouraged or put off or pissed off because, you know, he meets some unreasonable person or some person who just doesn't know what to do. When I peer over my cane and ask for help, no one ever cowers in fear. In fact, I think people are waiting for me to give them the green light to help. It makes us feel good to help. So what does he say?
Ask for help if you need it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't be afraid.
yeah. Or just be social. You
Yeah.
know, if you sense someone's there in front of you, you're walking, and no one's making a sound, but you know there's someone there. You say hello. Most of the time, Frank, he'll answer you.
Yeah.
However, you know, you'll get that situation where, you know, they might not listen. But when you break the ice, typically, just about all the time, you know, people, for sure, yeah, where are you headed? I mean, we set up lessons, especially with young people. Oh, cool. I'm just thinking of a kid, I was taking him down to BU. He was going to go to BU. And I set it up so he had to ask for help, you know, using public assistance. So he asked this guy, and the kid was with his father, and I bet he was a basketball player. The father was tall, and the kid was about 6'9", 6'10". He was probably doing a recruiting business or something. But he knew his way around, because when the student asked for a particular corner, he said to his father, and I'm way away, I'm across the street and way away, I didn't want anyone to know I was with him. He told his father to wait. And he walked with the kid all the way, you know, a couple of blocks, and took him to the bus stop. That was, you know, the way he needed to find to get back. But I said to myself, wow, look at that, you know, this kid, people are oftentimes eager to help, but they just don't know what to do. So they don't want to offend. And what are we all afraid of? Rejection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last sentence of that paragraph, he says, it makes us feel good to help. It does. I think what a lot of us find very difficult is accepting help.
I like help.
I like help sometimes.
Yeah, well, most of us are, you
Help
know,
doesn't always help.
taught to be independent or whatever, you know, you're gonna hear that all your life. And, you know. But, just go back to that statement, it makes us feel good to help. You know, when we do anything, we're of assistance to someone, I think just about 100% of the time you feel pretty good. So when I'm working with the adolescents and stuff, I tell them to be gracious recipients. Try and make someone's day. You're gonna make this guy's day if he gives you a little help. Or this gal, you know?
Sometimes they're crazy though.
Sometimes they're crazy. This is,
Uh-oh.
this is,
Yeah.
this is, This is the way of the public, I guess, the way of the streets.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes they're crazy.
Most of them are.
Most of them are. I think we just heard a pessimist. Is there a pessimist in the crowd?
There is.
Yeah. Cleat fills the bill in the pessimist department, yeah. Cleat's- He's vice president of the Carroll Center pessimist.
And I'm the food master here.
The food master?
But,
Is that Tom?
Yeah.
no, the simple fact is 95%
Yes.
of the people, if they know that you need assistance, if they see you can,
That's a miracle in using the cane, man, I'll tell you.
yeah.
Use
it
a cane,
just
man.
It opens up the
Yeah.
doors like crazy.
I don't know. Never-
My
never
dilemma
had
is
that
when-
cane.
When I get to people I
Yeah,
can't
I
see, I
know.
can't hear.
Jump right down.
So being totally blind, not even having any light perception, when you come up to somebody that you don't have no idea how far they are, and you say, "Excuse me," and nobody talks, it's like, "Excuse me," you gotta scream it out.
Yeah.
Just
you
say
know?
hello.
It's very, I don't know.
A lot of it, yeah, that's good. It feels awkward on
It does.
both ends, there's no question.
Yeah.
But I think we're always a little more comfortable when we have words. It's like trial and error.
Mm.
Like sometimes, again, I spent most of my life working with high school kids, and sometimes we'd even put them in the mall. So they'd say, you know, I'm gonna meet you at such and such a place. So they'd have to ask someone, you know, do you know the way to, and it becomes, like anything in life, all things in life are experience. And when you get enough experience and you have enough trial, and if we have the words to deal with situations, we're a lot more comfortable, but we don't get put off. And that comes with, you know, experience.
Mm.
You know, I'm thinking of one girl in particular, she must be a senior in college by now, or a junior. And it was so difficult for her, but, you know, we would talk about it, and, you know, eventually she got relatively comfortable with that.
Asking for help?
Yeah. Yeah, can I take your elbow? Are you going down by the Gap or Old Navy or whatever the store might be, you know? And again, I've seen so many times where people go out of their way. They go, like that story at the Cafe. That's not uncommon. So if you look at it from a standpoint of, you know, you're helping someone else to brighten their day, that could be helpful. When I ask for a small favor, I often get more assistance than I ever expect. Clerks will find my required forms and fill them out for me. A group of people will parade me across a dangerous intersection.
More than one helping.
Yeah, get a gang.
Once
Hey,
in a
I've
while.
seen, I was down in Fall River, when I think of it, there's
Yeah.
a gang. I'm down in Fall River, mean streets,
Oh,
mean streets.
Definitely.
And I'm working with this young gal, and she's a sophomore at Durfee High School down there. And this gangbanger, he's got the, you know, the music going. It was, you know, it was in May, the weather was balmy, and the music's going. He's, you know, the car's all souped up, the thing is jumping, and when he sees the kid, he throws the car in the park, jumps out of his car to help her across the street.
Huh. Really? Yeah, that,
That's
you just
cool.
changed that whole entire. Like that, I didn't
Mixed it up
expect
on
to
ya,
go like that. That's something like
No,
a
it's
gangbang
bigger
or
than
something. Helps them in cross the
No,
road.
he just, you know, I mean, you just don't know. But it's good to, you know, it's just good to be prepared for the whole shebang if you can. A group of people will parade me across a dangerous intersection. A sales clerk will read the price tag for me and then hunt for the item on sale.
yeah, they do that.
Yep. I'm no Don Juan, but strange and possibly exotic women will take my hand and walk me through dark rooms,
Ooh la la.
mysterious train stations, and foreign airports.
Oh, yeah.
I like the possibly exotic.
Just gotta go right. Cabbies wait and make sure I make it safely into lobbies. Cab drivers and
They're a tough bunch.
bus drivers, and you know they can be terrific. It's not like it's inconvenient for friends to help me get around. Hey, have disabled parking placard will travel. Christmas shopping, take me to the mall and I'll get us a front row parking. Late for the game, no problem in the mall. There's a seat right beside you, Heidi. There you go.
No problem.
We'll be parking by the stadium entrance. And if some inconsiderate interloper does park in the blue zone without a permit, he'll either be running after a fleeting tow truck or paying a big fine. Now, there's nothing like that, those handicap things. There's a gal, she goes to my church, and she's got spina bifida. This kid never stood up on her life. And I've taken her a couple, I go to all the Boston College games. I take her when it's warm. She's a big football fan. So, you know, we'll go to the games in September if there's one that she wants to go to or whatever. So she paid me back once she went online and she got tickets to the Patriots.
Woo.
So, actually she got 3 tickets.
I don't want to die.
So I took a buddy of mine too. So, I don't know, you go to these professional football games, I mean, it's quite a crowd, I don't know. I mean, so you know, you can get trapped with the I mean, you might as well plan the whole day. You're not going to a ball game and pull in and pull out. I mean, it's brutal. It's brutal. So we, with this placard, whoa, we just got right up to the front gate. Bing, bingo, right? You know, see, we were right near the gate. You know, we wheeled her in and we went upstairs and, you know, we were sitting in the handicap seating and it was beautiful. It was in the second tier end zone, but that new stadium, every seat in the place is a good seat. And what a great experience, you know. We had planned on doing a little cooking afterwards anyway, but just to pull in there and get a chance to pull out. What a usually it's a nightmare, traffic. Sometimes just getting out of the parking lot is brutal. You're in there for a game and you're backed up and you can't get to the street. you just accept it. There's nothing you can do. The traffic is so. And I think you pay about $40 to park now. So this was a breeze. This was beautiful.
Now, was it free with the handicap thing?
Yeah, it was right up to the front gate. There you go.
But did you
Parking though isn't
parking?
free though, is it?
Big.
I think it was. Yeah. You know, I can't remember. I know it was 35. I think it's $40 now.
Probably more.
It might be.
Talk
Talk about holding a gun to your head. Worried about those age lines showing? Not with me looking on. Put down that industrial strength oil of Olay. To me, your skin looks as clear and as smooth as it was back when the days when you thought sun tanning was a good idea.
It's not?
Heidi, you can keep doing whatever you want to do.
Kind of anyways.
So you see, I'm a good guy to know. I just carry a cane, that's all.
That's all.
None of this is to make light of going blind. Being blind is dark and depressing. When you see me walking with a cane, you may think I'm lost as I ricochet down the street. But you'll find more things in life if you don't travel in a straight line.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Say that one again?
Okay,
I'll tell Pat with that.
these is words to live by. But you'll find more things in life if you don't travel in a straight line.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool?
Mhm.
And this guy is a writer and executive in Southern California, Jim Baldrick. Comments, concerns?
Well, he described my glaucoma to a T. He just has a positive attitude, so
Yeah,
can't ask for more than that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we're all aware that if you're afraid of crossing that street, just ask someone, and they will most likely help you.
But how do
Come
you,
with your cane.
how do you know that there's somebody there to ask?
You can hear.
You can hear him.
Well, if there's not, you saying hello, can you help me won't seem stupid because no one will be there to see you.
Good point. You got it.
Unless somebody's walking with high heels on, or their keys are jingling.
Yeah,
We
but
got coins
sometimes
in
you
our
don't.
pocket.
Smell.
Coins in their pockets.
I don't have a sense of smell.
You know?
Nope.
Then you should have the room downstairs.
Yeah, right.
But there's always, you know, that, again, again, going back to younger people and work with them, I'd always be encouraging them to even have a little disability humor.
Just a
Breaks the
little.
ice.
Hmm.
I'll drive, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when people say, nice to see you again, I'm always like, nice to hear your voice.
Nice to hear you.
Yeah.
And they always laugh, and it makes everything better.
That's right. And you develop these little techniques, little sayings, little responses. It's all it's all part of rock and roll. Anyone else? Any,
No.
Come on.
any questions? Any answers?
Yeah, but sometimes,
22.
yeah, but one
I
time
didn't skip your class.
one time I was on a
That
two-lane street and someone said you can cross. And I'll tell you, if I wasn't alert, I would have got run over. So you have to be aware of your environment.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, cross, yeah.
Oh, I also wanted to add something to that. Like sometimes cars tell you they wave their hand and they say go.
Wave their hand, I'm gonna walk.
Because you can never know.
Gotta be careful.
Well, you gotta have judgment, and that comes with experience and training. In other words,
Yeah.
you know, people yell, roll the window down. All right, buddy, you're all set. You know,
And the other car
this
comes
kind
and
of
runs you
you know, when
over.
it's a 4-lane street, you go, wow. You know. You just say, that's okay, pal.
That's all right.
Have a good
That's all
one.
right, buddy. Go ahead.
Have a
That's
good one.
right.
Have a good one, kid.
Go
From
ahead.
New York.
Good spring, see you next fall.
Thanks, but I'm happy standing right where I am.
Okay, pal. Thanks a lot. No, you've got to,
No.
God gave us brains to use, right? Okay, I'm going to, in the remaining time we got here, I'm gonna, there's a guy that comes up here all the time, Jay Blake. He was a resident at the Guidance Center.
Okay, man.
And he's a motivational speaker and he's an entrepreneur. He has a race car. Okay, I'm going to read this story. This was in the New
Why
York
do you have a
Times.
race car?
Yeah,
I want to race a car.
and it's one of those dragsters.
Oh, he's a drag
It
racer.
doesn't go round and round. It just goes straight ahead.
Parachute out.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. You know, they go from 0 to to 250 in about 4 seconds.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And, okay, I'll read this. This was in the New York Times, June 22, 2008. It's, the title of this article is Robbed of His Sight, a Car Owner Maintains His Vision. Robbed of his sight, he maintains his vision.
I get it.
A crew chief named Jay Blake folds his white cane into 4 pieces and shoves it into his back pocket when he works on his dragster. He is blind, but he knows his way around the engine. His hands are calloused, fingernails greasy. His eyes are gone, replaced by prosthetics. He also lost his sense of smell and taste in an accident about 5:30 p.m. on May 22nd, 1997, when he was finishing another workday as head mechanic for a trucking company in Hyannis, Massachusetts. 4 bolts snapped and a wheel blew, hitting Blake in the face and tearing it apart. He does not remember anything about the accident. He tells the story as it was told to him later. But the damage was so devastating that others could see part of his brain. The cool part is, this is Jay speaking. The cool part is, I know I've got one now. He said Friday smiling. They all questioned it for years. Blake, 41, keeps his office, a photograph of himself at about 3, poised next to his pedal tractor tilted over, a toolbox next to it. He made a living fixing cars and trucks, but the accident inspired him to think about challenging himself like never before. After a near-death experience, extensive plastic surgery, and rehabilitation, that was at the car center, Blake decided what he really wanted to do for the rest of his life was own a race team. 16 months after the accident, he went to a National Hot Rod Association event. I was riding through the pits on Sunday, Blake said, and I stood up and said, hey, I'm going for it. I'm going to make this happen. And he has. He is the owner and chief mechanic of a rapidly improving top alcohol funny car team that will enter about 12 drag racing events this year. This is 08. He's like, I know he's first in New England. I think he was 3rd nationally last year. Whoa. Where am I here? Okay, his driver is Marty Nordston, 37. This guy was a former Olympic cyclist who won a gold medal in the 1,000-meter sprint in the 2000 Summer Olympics in Sydney, Australia. And then it says Nordston, a native of Tylertown, Pennsylvania. It says he has loved cars for longer than he's loved bicycles. And it goes on to say he is not paid to drive for Blake's team, which is staffed almost entirely by volunteers. Blake is a number of his brothers, and they come up. We have programs in the summer for adolescents, and he comes up every summer with the trailer, big rig, and you know, he brings the car in, and I mean, I never knew anything about these cars. You can lift up the body of them. They're so light, they're all fiberglass. And,
That's awesome.
Everything's about speed. But he'll, you know, he shows the kids the car, and then they start the car up, and you think the whole, I mean, what a racket that is if you're near it, you know. If you watch, but Nostrum, like Blake, aspires to be a top rung of the funny car ladder, and Nordstrom says Blake is the best person to help him take that next step. They're talking about the driver of the car. If you watch the man around the car, it's pretty amazing. Said Nordstrom, who was in his 3rd year as driver. Jay knows his way around wrenches and engines, and he knows the car better than the guys with vision. Blake maintains Blake remains a hands-on mechanic. He prepares spark plugs and installs them in an engine that is capable of creating more than 6,500 horsepower and propelling the car down the track at speeds up to 260 miles an hour. He escorts his car to the starting line. Sometimes he bumps into a table filled with tools or the side of a door to the team's new white hauler, but he keeps moving because many adjustments need to be made to the car between qualifying and elimination runs that last less than 6 seconds. That's how these races go.
Yeah.
He's just as stubborn, said his 49-year-old brother Jim, who was the car's tuner. He says that kiddingly, but he is persistent. He made a decision to pursue something in his life regardless. He has a faith that he can do it. He looks at this as he's been given a second chance to do what he's always wanted to do. About 9 years ago, Jay Blake remortgaged his home on Cape Cod so he could buy a drag stand. He found a car for sale in Boston, then asked Jim to drive it for him. Jim said yes, with the proviso that Jay go with him to see it or touch it. Jay also became a motivational speaker, speaking to youth groups and corporate executives about the power of positive thinking. He picked up sponsors, including Permatex, a company in Hartford that manufactures engine sealants. You meet Jay and you say, any difficulty that I have in my life, I can get over this. Mark Zimmerman, the Permatex general manager, said in a telephone interview Friday, some of the senior executives he's spoken to almost feel guilty that they let stand in the way things that Jay doesn't let get in his way. Blake divorced after the accident. He had to remortgage his home to continue paying the team's bills. Even now, every bit of money he goes into participating in events like this weekend. They've come a long way since '08. But he is getting somewhere. Norton's finished second in the last of 3 events the team entered, including an event last weekend in ATCO, ATCO, New Jersey, in which Norton's ended the 47 race winning streak of a top alcohol funny car icon, Frank Manzo. Blake now has a website. This website is still there. It's called www.followadream.org.
Oh.
That details the progress of the team and his sideline as a motivational speaker. He says the team is capable of moving it to the top level, and they have done that in 2 or 3 years. It is perhaps an audacious goal. Blake has gained a lot of ground, but he keeps hustling around his car with the rest of the team, turning a wrench, finding a part, or offering advice that may coax more speed from a car that seems fast enough already. I'm a regular guy who had a bad day at the office, Blake said. But this is what I created, and if I can do this, anyone else can. That was in the New York Times. He, as I said, he comes up here as a motivational speaker and talks to the kids. Not every year, but oftentimes he has. And he talks about life's toolbox. And he mentions 5 things here. 1 is positive thinking. 2 is education and skills. 3 is passion. Get involved in something that you like, you enjoy. Self-determination is the 4th tool he mentions. And in other words, take responsibility for yourself and be accountable to others and for yourself. And then teamwork. If I'm talking to groups, I ask 6 things sometimes. Spirituality. Because that can help you through a lot of lot of tough times. Positive thinking, education and skills, and he talks about to the kids. He talks about, you're at the Carroll Center now, and you're here, and you've got teachers who have specialized abilities and talents, and they're trying to impart those talents to you. He tells them, take advantage of it when you're here. Passion, that kind of speaks for itself. But, teamwork, we all have to get along with others. Most people I know, boy, in the grad schools, that's all it is teamwork. All they do is work as teams and split their talking to kids in grad schools, in business, or whatever it might be. It's all about teamwork, small groups, and so forth. So that's Jay Blake, and if you wanted to he's got cards and stuff. He goes to these races. He's signing autographs. He gave me something. I got a grandson who's interested in cars and stuff. And he gave me a thing. And it's got a picture of him with Jay Leno. Jay's a car freak.
J and J.
And yeah, Jay and Jay.
WJ squared.
So there's a picture of him with Jay Leno. And it's just part of his promotional stuff that he hands out to people. But if you wanted to look that up, followagreements.org. Interesting guy. He did a remake. Big time. No questions?
Nope.
No answers?
Nope.
No answers.
No mints?
Nope.
No bubble gum?
Nope.
Please?
I'm at the house.
No.
Everyone's ready for lunch.
No idea.
Okay, I think we're ready to